the invitation to the evening meal of the Lamb's marriage are immediately resurrected to join their fellow members of the bride class in heaven. They do not fall asleep in death in the sense of wading in a long sleep, as did the apostles, but, on dying, are changed, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, during the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised up incorruptible, and we shall be changed. 1 Cor 15. 51, 52. Evidently, though, the marriage of the Lamb does not take place until after judgment has been executed upon Babylon the Great. 18. After describing the destruction of this great harlot, Revelation 19. 7 says, "Let us rejoice and be overjoyed, and let us give him the glory, because the marriage of the Lamb has arrived and his wife has prepared herself." When all the 144,000 have been finally approved and sealed as faithful ones and have been resurrected to the heavens, the marriage can proceed. First resurrection. Revelation 20. 5, 6 refers to the resurrection of those who will reign with Christ as the first resurrection. The Apostle Paul speaks of this first resurrection also as the early resurrection from the dead, literally, the resurrection, the out of dead ones. php 3. 11, NW, Ro, int on the expression Paul uses here, Robertson's Word Pictures in the New Testament 1931, Volume IV, p. 454 says. Apparently Paul is thinking here only of the resurrection of believers out from the dead, and so XX out ten exanastation ten ek necron. Paul is not denying a general resurrection by this language, but emphasizing that of believers. Charles Ellicott's Commentaries 1865, Volume 2, p. 87 remarks on Philippians 3. 11. The resurrection from the dead. That is, as the context suggests, the first resurrection Rev. XX 5, when, at the Lord's coming the dead in him shall rise first. 1 Thessalon 4. 16, and the quick be caught up to meet him in the clouds. 1 Thess 4. 17. Compare Luke XX 35. The first resurrection will include only true believers, and will apparently precede the second, that of non-believers. O textoi acute miritra longo. Resurrection 788 Pentecost, which was 10 days after that ascension, when God through Jesus anointed the first members of those who will receive the heavenly resurrection. Act 1. 3. 2. 1-4, 33. The evildoer, Jesus said, would be in paradise. The word means a park or pleasure ground. The Septuagint rendered the Hebrew word for garden gan, as at Genesis 2. 8, by the Greek word par-middle.rad-middle.sos. The paradise in which the evildoer will be would not be the paradise of God promised to him that conquers, at Revelation 2. 7, for the evildoer was not a conqueror of the world with Jesus Christ. Job 16. 33. The evildoer would therefore not be in the heavenly kingdom as a member of it. Luke 22. 28-30 but would be a subject of the kingdom, when those of the first resurrection would, as kings of God in Christ, sit on thrones, ruling with Christ for 1,000 years. Read 20. 4, 6. The righteous and the unrighteous. The Apostle Paul said to a group of Jews who also entertained the hope of a resurrection that there is going to be a resurrection of both the righteous and the unrighteous. Act 24. 15. The Bible makes it plain who are the righteous. First of all, those who are to receive a heavenly resurrection are declared righteous. Row 8. 28-30. Then the Bible calls faithful men of old such as Abraham righteous. G 15. 6. Just 2. 21. Many of these men are listed at Hebrews chapter 11, and of them the writer says, "And yet all these, although they had witness borne to them through their faith, did not get the fulfillment of the promise, as God foresaw something better for us spirit-begotten, anointed Christians like Paul, in order that they might not be made perfect apart from us." Heb 11. 39, 40. So, the perfecting of them will take place after that of the ones having part in the first resurrection. Then there is the great crowd described in Revelation chapter 7, who are not members of the 144,000 sealed ones, and who consequently do not have the token of the Spirit as being spirit-begotten. F1. 13, 14. 2 Co 5. 5. They are described as coming out of the Great Tribulation as survivors of it. This would seem to locate the gathering of this group in the last days shortly before that tribulation. These are righteous through faith, being clothed in white robes washed in the blood of the Lamb. Re 7. 1, 9-17 As a class, they will not need to be resurrected, but faithful ones of that group who die before the Great Tribulation will be resurrected in God's due time. Also, there are many unrighteous persons buried in Sheol Hades, mankind's common grave, or in the sea, watery graves. The judgment of these along with the righteous resurrected on earth is described in Revelation 20. 12, 13. And I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and scrolls were opened. But another scroll was opened. It is the scroll of life. And the dead were judged out of those things written in the scrolls according to their deeds. And the sea gave up those dead in it, and death and Hades gave up those